Coach Tim Nixon started coming to Wilderness Running Camp, I believe, my senior year of high school, which was way back in 1995. He came all the way down from Kansas City, and I'm pretty sure I got the story right, that he came all the way down, and you didn't bring a tent with you, Coach, did you? He didn't bring a tent, and he stopped along the way somewhere, and they were having a yard sale or something, or somebody had a tent in their yard for sale, and he purchased the tent on his way down to camp that year. And that was in 1995, and as far as I know, Coach Nixon, you've never missed a year. But not only has he never missed a year, he's went to 3 camp sessions many years. I went up and spoke at New Haven, our first session this summer a few weeks ago, and yes, Tim Nixon was there. I remember about 4 years ago when Coach Dixon's wife got really sick, and Coach said, you know, we may not be able to have camp, and I said, no, we'll have camp. We've got lots of people that will help us make sure that that happens. And Coach Nixon was one of the people I called, and he said, Coach, I'll be at all 3 camps, and I'll do whatever I can do. He has been our arch rival many times, but he's one of our best friends. Him and Coach Dixon, he'll go into that, and he'll talk about probably how he met Coach Dixon and how it took a while, but then they formed this friendship. He is one of the most loyal people I know to Wilderness Running Camp and to Coach Dixon and myself. He's a true friend. He is a godly person. He has kids and grandkids that he sets a good example for. And so please pay attention to him. Whatever he decides as he gets up here, he's also got he might do a stand-up comic act. You just never know with Coach Nixon. He's got a lot of talents. So when he gets up here, whatever he decides to talk about, it'll be worth your time. So get your eyes wide open and sit up straight, and let's give Coach Nixon our full attention.
All right, well, thank you so much for letting me share some of this evening with you. And this is just like me to kind of be all over the place with, you know, what to do and what to talk about. So I'm not one of these detail people. I'm kind of a random, big picture kind of guy. So anyway, I did, my wife and I got to go to Israel this last June. And and then there was this Methodist men's group, and they asked me to do a presentation for them. It was just last Wednesday before we came down here. And you know, I got some pictures and stuff, and sometimes people kind of like to see what's going on in Israel. But I did want to mention a couple of things, though, before I got started on that. This is by request. Coach Burnham, I don't even see him out there. Is Coach Burnham out there? Coach Burnham. He was at Camp Trinity, and we talked about this, and he said he thought it would be kind of interesting to, so anyway, but I want to talk about, there are 3 adults that came down with me on this trip, and each one of them kind of unique and special, the role that they're playing this week. I'm very grateful that my wife, we'll celebrate our 30th anniversary this December, and she is down here with me, and she helps. Thank you. She's helping Jamie Dixon in the kitchen and helping with the food and all that. And by the way, while we're talking about the food and all that, how about the food and all that? Thank you so much. You know, the food is always great. There's plenty of it, and so anyway, but just real grateful that my wife was able to come down, and just that she, you know, wants to be a part of this and share this experience with me, but also just loves the Dixon family. And so anyway, it's been I really appreciate her coming down and supporting me and us and all of this and so forth. So then I also came down with, we shared a bus with Liberty North. So we're Liberty, and now there's 2 high schools in Liberty. Now this is Liberty outside of Kansas City, okay? And I know there's a couple other Liberties. There's Liberty Wentzville and Liberty Mountain. Hey, there's a lot of talent coming out of Liberty Wentzville, I just want to tell you right now. And Liberty Wentzville, there's Liberty Mountain View. And but anyway, we're the Liberty outside of Kansas City, but now we have 2 high schools, Liberty and Liberty North. So for the longest time, most of my career, I've been coaching I'm started my 39th season now, okay? Most of those 39 years, Liberty just had the 1 high school. And the last, I don't know, 6 or 7, we have started a new high school called Liberty North. And what's exciting to me about it is that one of my former athletes, one of my former assistant coaches is now the head coach at Liberty North and is just doing an incredible, outstanding job. And so to also be able to share this experience with him means a lot. For an old guy that's been around a long time, and then to have a guy that kind of came through the ranks and now all of a sudden he's coaching. And so anyway, just to be able to share this with him and just see the magnificent job that he's doing coaching there at Liberty North. So that's Coach Dave Chatlos. He's right over there at Liberty North. So, and then I thought I might also mention he didn't ride the bus with us, but he drove a conversion van that he took all the seats out of, and then they rented a U-Haul. And so this is a dad. He's got I don't know, 4 or 5 or 8 or 10 daughters on the team or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, his name is Chris Clancy. He's right over there, Mr. Clancy, if you want to say hello to him. And but the reason who he reminds me of is I have, and actually her son is here on the trip. His name's Justin Steffensmeyer, but his mom is our parent rep, okay? So I don't know, like, if on your team, if you have, like, a parent that just kind of, handles a lot of things that I don't have to mess with because she takes care of it. And, but the thought that I have is that to have people like that a lot of times people, they just, if they have time to do anything, it's pretty much just for their own kid, They're pretty focused on just helping as long as it helps my kid. But these people that do so much for so many. And so this is another good example. And Mrs. Steffensmeyer does that for us at Liberty High School. And at Liberty North, you got somebody like Mr. Clancy who, he's doing something not just for his own kids, but for the other athletes at Liberty North. And then it turns out he's helping us also at Liberty High School. And so anyway, I just appreciate, we can't appreciate enough these people that step up and do that for other people and more than just their own kids. So anyway, but that was kind of our experience coming down. We shared a bus, Liberty and Liberty North. This is my 24th summer with the Bill Dixon Wilderness Running Camp. Actually started, she said 95, but we actually came in 94. We brought 4 kids, all right? And we were overwhelmed by a lot of things. What great condition the Zizzers were in the middle of July. I just had no idea. I didn't know people worked that hard at this sport in the off season. So that was quite an eye-opener. The other thing was just their hospitality and so forth. And of course, what got me down there is that I heard Coach Dixon speak. This is at a track clinic in Independence, Missouri, Truman High School. One of my high school teammates, Tom Billington, was hosting it, and Coach Dixon was speaking. And so what impressed me is, of course, his overall record is astounding. One of the best, if not the best, records in the entire nation. And but I was more impressed with his reference to God and values. And he was talking earlier about how somebody was kind of complaining about this being a Bible camp or something like that. Well, that's okay with some of us. It's okay. And heck, you know, if I go through this slideshow, I mean, there might be some references to the Bible, and if that's offensive to some people, I mean, I'll apologize ahead of time. But I am just so grateful because in our sport, I'm telling you right now, I don't care if it's cross country, track, sports in general, any sport, volleyball, football, I can go down the line. Ladies and gentlemen, frankly, and as wonderful as these coaches are that are here with you here this week, overall, I'm talking about percentage-wise, there aren't that many people to look up to in our profession. I had another coach remind me of that not too long ago. And so for me, Coach Dixon has been somebody who's just like, you know, in our profession, it's really kind of hard to find people that not only work that hard, but have those values. And so I've just been grateful that I've had the chance to stay with it as long as I have. And anyway, so she told you the story about the tent coming into camp and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of came up with this, and I don't know if this, some of you have heard this before, but I'll just share it with you here real quick. I came up with 3 mistakes that young runners make. And the first one is that they fail to prepare. The Zizzers, when I saw them in the middle of July that first summer, 1994, you could tell they were very prepared, okay? And I can honestly say that at that point, my team wasn't prepared. Now, after that first time at camp, we took some steps to take care of that. And from then on, we were, you know, we're never going to be the West Plains. I'm never going to be Coach Dixon. We're never going to be the West Plains Zizzers. But I guarantee you this, we run a lot more often and a lot farther than we used to. And it's a result of our experience at camp. The other thing was I was impressed watching his teams. Wherever they ended up, that wasn't where they started off in the first mile. Do you know what I'm talking about? The first mile, sometimes you don't even see them. They're just not there yet. The mistake that young runners make is they go out too fast. And so these guys are well aware that, you know what, we got a full 5K here. We got a 3.1 mile race, and we're going to use all of it. And so you guys go ahead and go out too fast. But something, and I've even heard him describe it as magic, something happens magically around the mile mark, and then the Zizzers go to work. And they usually do it together. And that brings me to the third point. Most people do not perceive this sport to be a team sport. They run off and leave their teammates behind. Or they have no intentions of doing anything that resembles a team. They'll do all these team-like things during the season, before the race, after the race, and all that kind of stuff. But during the race, I mean, you know what? It's shoot the gun, and it's every man for himself. It's every woman for themselves. Not the Zizzers. There's always a plan, and they're always running together, and it may be a 1-4, a 2-3, who knows, but, you know, some combination of 5, because, you know, in cross-country, it takes 5. And so anyway, I was impressed with their teamwork, and so those were the 3 things that I came away with when I was there in 94. And anyway, for several years after that, remember, this is at Liberty High School. There's one high school. The next several years, we brought over 20 runners every summer. And there was one summer, I remember, we brought over 30. And now our numbers have dropped off a little bit since the start of the new high school, and for whatever reason. But I'm proud to have 9 guys here for my team this year.